Alright, so I'm quite certain that this is going to sound like shit because I'm driving, but sometimes that's the best time to cast a pod or talk, in general. So I thought I'd go over some of the stories in my career as a cook, seeing as how I really do feel like at this point in time I don't know, I don't think I'm ever going to cook. I hope I never cook again. I hope I never cook again. I'm sure I will. I remember talking to Rachel. We used to talk about how we wanted out of the business and stuff. Me more than her. She kind of was in love with, serving an honest drink or whatever. But I remember her saying, even if we get out, I don't know if we could completely get out. I think we'd always crave. There is something about working in a kitchen that I love. There is, and I think that's why I've stayed in the industry for so long. It's because I do love two things about the business, but it's not enough to stay. I love the people and the environment. I love how you work very closely with people in most restaurants, kitchens. You're forced to work in close proximity, and it does attract fringe. It attracts such a wide range of a diverse staff, people that maybe couldn't get a job somewhere else, all the way up to people who love to cook and take it very seriously and went to college for cooking. That whole range of people. It doesn't matter your race, color, creed, gender, whatever. Preferences, it just doesn't matter, as long as all that matters is that you can do the job. And so what I've loved about that is that I love that, the amount of humor that happens in a kitchen is just, there's nothing like it. I don't think there's any other job or workplace that it would be accepted or or considered to be okay. But I do think it's because of the pressure. That's the number one thing that has kept me, is the people. And number two is the adrenaline. There is an adrenaline that comes from working in a restaurant. Not so much a commercial kitchen like a college or but there is still an adrenaline there too. There really is, getting something done on time. Really, your job depends on, not so much your job in a college setting, but your reputation. You don't want to have to be bailed out. And so, yeah, the adrenaline can get pumping, but in a restaurant, it's brutal. The adrenaline can be a blessing and a curse. If you love adrenaline, then it's great, but also it does harm to your body over time. And those are the two things that I like. I like pressure and high pressure, stress. That kind of stress I enjoy, and the people. But eventually, if you don't like food, if food isn't something that you're in, sorry, I almost hit a car. If food isn't something you're passionate about, and you've lost the will, you've lost the sense of purpose that comes with creating a dish, or if you just don't create on your job and you're just a robot, then eventually you feel like you're not serving any purpose, and the humor and relationships with people will not be enough. But so I figured it's a good time to go over some of the crazy stories that have happened to me personally, that I've been a part of while working in restaurants and kitchens throughout my life. I remember the first restaurant I worked at was called Ponderosa Steakhouse. And, oh God, should I even tell this story? And it just set the tone for what working in a restaurant is all about. It was me and my buddy Jeff Gard. actually, it was 4 of us. It was pretty insane. We were the very close friends in high school, and my closest best friend, Jay Bonavita, was a grill cook at Ponderosa Steakhouse. This is while we're still in high school. He was a grill cook, and my other close friend, Jay Mainville, was a server at Ponderosa Steakhouse, and he was the only one who had a license among us at the time. But I remember saying, well, I want to get a job there. So me and Jeff Gard, is another one of my friends, decided to go in and interview and do the whole thing and get hired as dishwashers. So we started, and it was pretty remarkable looking back to work at a restaurant with your 4 closest friends, like a group of very close friends who didn't meet at the restaurant and all decided to work at this one restaurant. Yeah, just knowing that we were crazy. So one of us was responsible for like seating you and taking your order. The other one was responsible for cooking your steak, and me and Jeff were responsible for making sure what you eat that steak off of is clean. And so yeah, it's very funny. But the story is as follows. So we've been working there for a little while, enjoyed it. Immediately I felt the sexual tension, like the thing that happens in a kitchen. Back then especially, there is like because you're in close proximity with waitresses and, you know, sometimes good looking people, there's like an undercurrent of energy, tension. Like there is a lot of debauchery that happens in a kitchen because of that, especially in a public dining sort of environment, like a private restaurant, public dining sort of thing. There is like this thing that happens. You're working physically close with these people. You have to dance around them, and they're all day long for long hours. And so, yeah, there is a lot of like infidelity that happens. People sleeping. There's just restaurant incestual behavior that I never have ever been a part of. I've always been like an onlooker, watching that stuff, and I've come close. Like I've been amongst the people who are doing that, but I never like partook in that sort of thing. But you know, not really. And and so I remember this. So I'm at this time, I think I was like 15 going on. Yeah, I was definitely 15, washing dishes. And the first day I didn't know what to wear, and I realized, so I was wearing this like cut off t-shirt with the sleeves cut off and like a collared shirt over it, and I was very nervous. It was one of my first jobs. You know, it was definitely my first job that wasn't on the golf course with, you know, something my father got me. And so I start to work, and I'm wearing this collared shirt, and everyone keeps saying, what are you wearing that collared shirt for? You're going to get it dirty, like you're just a dishwasher. And so I immediately realized that the manager, the guy who was in charge of everything, was just a young kid in his 20s. And immediately I felt the sense that my friends and I were really kind of just doing whatever the fuck we wanted. Like we were my buddy Bono was the grill cook, who was kind of like the head cook amongst all the other cooks in a steakhouse, and he was only fucking 15 years old as well. I think Bono was 16, so I realized it was kind of like a shit show. I could do whatever I want, and yeah, I think that's the way a lot of restaurants are, and there's a sense of freedom to that, and a sense of, you feel almost like a bandit. Like you're getting paid to make sure that these people eat. It was a wild, thrilling kind of sensation. But I remember taking my collared shirt off, and I had a cut-off t-shirt on with this, like I said, with the sleeves cut off. And one of the waitresses, who was probably 19, maybe 20, walked by me and she said, "Ooh, nice arms," right? Which baffles me because at the time, I don't think I was, my arms were very nice at all, but I was just a skinny kid. And I remember her saying that and me thinking, like, I didn't know, I felt, it was the first time anybody had commented like that really at all, like in a work environment for sure, but even at school you wouldn't hear that kind of thing so much. So in like a work, it was really, I didn't know whether I felt like I was for sure shy, I'm sure, and like a little embarrassed maybe, but it was exciting. It was exciting knowing that she said that, and it went, and it was almost like she said it like, this is par for the course. This is how, people behave in this industry. So yeah, it kind of set the tone. And anyways, I'm working there. Me and my buddy Jeff. I think Jeff stopped. He stopped showing up or whatever. But it was a lot of fun doing that job with him and with my friends there and staying late. And the whole thing was just fun, being a dishwasher. I remember I wanted to be a cook. A grill cook, and I don't think Jeff really cared either way. I think he thought this is a gross job, which is good for him, because my lust to move up and be a grill cook basically set the tone for the rest of my life, because I ended up staying in the business. But I remember we used to sleep at, I shouldn't tell this on the air, but fuck it, right? There was a thing that happened amongst my friends that is unexplained to this day. I was definitely 15 because I was still a virgin at this point, working at Ponderosa. And I remember we'd sleep at Jay's house all the time, and at this point all my friends were getting laid except for me and probably maybe Jeff Gard. I think we were the last of our friends to lose our virginity. And I remember waking up one day, and it was, not waking up, I remember being, I forget where I was, because it was over the summer. I think I was with my mom during the afternoon, like looking, I forget what we were looking at, but something for like a family member, flowers or something. And I remember feeling like this awful itch on my body. And I remember getting home that night, or that afternoon, and I looked, and I was just terribly itchy, and I saw little crabs on my hair, like my pubic hair. And I completely freaked out and lost my mind. Can you imagine getting crabs before you lose your virginity? Can you imagine? I was baffled, number one. I didn't know that they were crabs, but hopefully you don't have any experience with this, but if you do, when you look, they look like fucking crabs. You can see them. It was awful. And I remember immediately I told my mom, I said, I think there's something going on. She went and bought me some Rid. And she was baffled by it too. I think she was so traumatized by hearing that, she didn't want to ask any questions or know any answers. She probably assumed I got it from a girl, which is impossible, because I had not yet had sex. So my buddy comes and picks me up, and I get in the car. This is Bono. And I said, hey man, I gotta tell you something. I don't know what the fuck is going on, how this happened. I don't know if I got it from washing dishes. I thought I got it at the dirty restaurant or something. I said, I just found out today I got fucking crabs on my pubic hair. And he said, I remember it like it was yesterday. He goes, those are no big deal. I've had those for months. And that's when I knew. I didn't get them from the dishwasher. I got them from sleeping at his house with the same dirt. It was his room, was like the party room. It was huge. All of us slept there. His girlfriends would sleep there. All the girls would sleep there, and people were sleeping with each other. I probably shared a blanket or whatever it was, and I got crabs. So I remember that, and I said, "Well, what the fuck, man? You've had it for months. What have